The National Assembly has resumed plenary after about 5 weeks of recess as part of measures to curb the spread of the coronavirus. In the upper legislative chamber, senators were asked to maintain social distance during proceedings, which saw approval being given for President Muhammadu Buhari's request to raise a fresh loan of 850 billion naira to finance projects in the 2020 budget. At the lower chamber, lawmakers also adhered to safety guidelines as the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, revealed plans on a second stimulus bill to reduce the effect of the lockdown. Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the Ministry of Health, and the chairman of the Presidential Task Force were summoned for questionings on development in Kano. The lawmakers also condemned attacks on Nigerians and China, asking the federal government to repatriate illegal Chinese immigrants in the country. Now, PDP representative Bamidele Salam joins us for more on today's sitting and the matters arising. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 7. After about 5 weeks of recess, you and your colleagues are back in the legislative chambers. And one quick thing that happened today was speedy approval of the president's request for 850 billion naira loan. Is this not, I mean, why this speedy approval for this?
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me. You are correct that the National Assembly resumed today. You are aware that we went on a 2-week break. It was supposed to be a 2-week break on the 24th of March, 2020. We were to resume on the 7th of April, and then we had a series of events. You know, the major one was the declaration of the lockdown by Mr. President in the FCT, Lagos, and Ogun State, as well as different measures put in different states. Now, a lot of things happened today in the floor of the National Assembly, but the particular reference we're making now about the approval of the loan request of Mr. President happened on the floor of the Senate.
All right.
And I'm not competent to speak on what happened on the floor of the Senate. I'm a member of the House of Representatives. I can give insights into the things that happened during the sitting of the House of Representatives.
Indeed, let's not talk about Honorable Salam. Let's talk about the things that transpired on the floor of the lower chambers. Everyone is concerned about safety this season, and there's so much talk about personal hygiene, physical and social distancing. How are the lawmakers embracing these guidelines to ensure that we flatten the curve of coronavirus infections?
Okay, absolutely. You know, as a very responsible house, we also, first and foremost, we value our own lives, we value our health. And apart from the global protocol adopted by the World Health Organization, as well as the measures put in place by the NCDC, the House itself has a set of regulations which were issued and circulated among members yesterday to guide us in how we're to come into the chambers. Each person is to come into the chambers without a company. In other words, you're not coming with any of your staff. You also must come in, wearing a face mask. And the sitting arrangement on the floor of the plenary had been marked in such a way that there is a minimum of 3 empty seats between one member and the other, to ensure that we have the reasonable requirement for physical distancing. And if you watch what happened, the plenary today, unlike what we had before, where you had people standing up to go and converse with members and so on and so forth, or even moving to approach the chair, that was not a common practice today, because everyone was very conscious of that need to ensure that, we do all we can in our own capacity to also stop the spread of the virus from there. And then, the speech of Mr. Speaker, which was the first thing that happened, highlighted quite a number of things which Nigerians are expecting from us, and which we are determined to offer in terms of legislative support to all the initiative of the federal government, to curb the spread of the COVID-19 and to ensure that the effect of the lockdown on the average citizen is ameliorated.
Right.
To the extent that the House has decided that we're going to have a COVID-19 special committee that will interface with critical ministries, departments, and agencies to ensure that the measures put in place by the government actually reach the needed, the needy of our populace, in order to ensure that, after the lockdown, we don't start combating a new threat of economic, survival amongst the populace.
Honorable Member of the House of Representatives, Bamidele Salam, representing Eden North South, Egbedero, Ejigbo Federal Constituency of Osun State. Thank you for talking to us.